Hello. Good morning. Hey guys. All right, let me go ahead and sit y'all right over here. Sit y'all right here. We want to talk for a little bit before I gotta go to work. Now all that clickety clackety in the background, that's my darn Lord. Help us this morning, Lord. Help us through it. Okay. Good morning, guys. It's your girl Me-Anie here. I want to do this video before I head out to work. Siler is always in the mix as always. So this video is, let me see what I called it. I think I called it How to Attract What You Want. And this is just a success story. And I'll be able to see exactly what you guys are saying. So when you come in, you can definitely leave a comment and I'll be able to see that. But success story that happened over the weekend. I'm kind of excited. It's something small. So this is just a little story to get you guys motivated into how to attract things that you want and start small. You know, you got to start somewhere. So why not start small? So for the past week or so, I've been telling myself like I want to create a little study space for myself where I'm not in the house, because the way I have my setup right now, like every corner in my space is so darn comfortable, I tend to fall asleep there. So I wanted to create a space that was out here on my porch in the open where I can just study. That's going to be super annoying. Where I can just study. So I wanted another desk, and I wanted like this big, huge desk. Good morning, everybody. I wanted like this huge desk out here. And I was thinking like, okay, I can do it kind of like how I have my other desk where I just get like the base, maybe go buy 4 legs from Home Depot or something like that. Or I can try to find one and offer up. So I've been thinking about it for the past week, kind of visualizing where I want this desk to go, how I want it to look and everything like that. Now, a few days ago, I was walking outside and I saw this huge table. When I tell you like this table was really big, and I took a picture of it here. Let me see if I can share that with you guys. It was like extremely huge. Let me know if you guys can hear me well. I'm sitting outside, so there's a lot of traffic going back and forth. If anything, I'll do another setup for my next video. Okay, so this is what it looked like. This is what the table looked like. If I turn this, what you say? No, you'll turn to. All right, so this is what the table looked like. And it was a dumpster find. Really large table, nice sturdy wooden legs. And all I thought was like, okay, I just want the legs off of this table. So myself and my neighbor, we went out, we grabbed the table, brought it back in front of our units, and we started looking at it. So come to find out, it's actually one that expands. You know, like those tables that open up and they expand in the middle. That's what this table was. So I started thinking like, okay, I'm going to turn this table into the desk that I want. So we worked on it all. I think it was Friday when I was off. All day on Friday, we worked on this table. We basically shaved off. We cut. I hope y'all going somewhere important. I cut off the 2 edges along here to make it more of a rectangle as opposed to a circle, because I just wanted something narrow. And when I tell you, good morning, Angela. I'm sorry, I'm looking over here because this is where my computer is and this is where my camera is. With the I'm so distracted right now because it's so beautiful outside. I have to be to work in like 40 minutes, which means I have to leave in like 20. But the desk is freaking amazing. When I tell you like what I did with it when we were done, so like I was saying, we cut off the ends, so it turned from more of a circular or oblong, I should say, from oblong to rectangle. So we cut off the legs, took the legs off. We kind of chopped and screwed it all the way together until we were able to come up with this beautiful table right here. When I tell you like this is the same table, the same exact table. So took all the colorways, sanded it down. This part right here is actually the center part that comes out, and we can collapse the table and make it smaller but this is the length that I wanted it because I wanted something kind of big for out here. These pieces didn't exist. We basically had to make this from the pieces that we cut off of the table. But all of this cost me nothing but time. Nothing but time. It was a total dumpster fire. It was sitting right outside by the dumpster. And while we were working on it, like somebody came up and they were like really impressed and offered to buy it. And I was like, I don't think so. Not for sale, not selling my table. So this is the second time that I actually attracted a desk, and it happened the very first time that I started using the law of attraction. I don't know why, but every time I start using the law of attraction, the first thing I want is a desk, and I get it. So this was absolutely like no charge at all, no fee, just me basically sanding it down. Time and energy was all that I put into it. And I'm just making this video to show you guys, like, I knew that I wanted a desk. I knew what kind of desk I wanted. I didn't know where it was going to come from. I didn't know how I was going to achieve it, but I knew what I wanted and I put it out there in my mind. And in less than a week, I basically attracted it to myself. And I love these little projects because I get to kind of do exactly what I want to do and work around some obstacles to create something that I want. And as I do that, a lot of the times, it just makes me a little bit more creative, and I'm much happier with the outcome in the end. I'm freaking loving this desk, okay? When I tell you I'm so excited about it. Another thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about is how to attract what you want. And this is going to be our assignment. So I want you, mosquito bite. I want you guys to kind of come up with something that you want to attract. Start with something small. Doesn't have to be big at all. Something small, and it doesn't have to be materialistic. So it doesn't have to be an actual product. It could be, just something that you want. You don't have to physically be able to hold it, touch it. Not tangible. Doesn't matter. Just something that you want and it's small. And you can either write it down, or if you're not one to write things down and you're really like a visual person, visualize it in your head what you want. And I want you guys to come back and share with me within the next week or so. I'm going to do a video that I'm going to catch up on all this with you guys. And let me know if you guys were able to attract what you want, what it was that you actually wanted, and then what you did to manifest it. Now, the thing is, when it comes to attracting things, it's not your job. You have to figure out what your job is. Your job is not to figure out how you're going to get it. And I think that's where a lot of us get caught up. We know what we want. We can see what it is. But then we go into doing something else. Like, you need to learn your job description. Just like when you sign up for a job, the first thing you do, or the first thing you should do, is to see what that job all entails. I was looking at someone's comment. So like I was saying, with any job, the first thing that you do, you find out what this job entails. What are the requirements for you to fulfill this job? So with the law of attraction, your job, your only job, is to know what you want, know exactly what it is. So then you ask, you believe, and then you receive. That's all you have to do, those things. Now, figuring out how you're going to achieve it, how you're going to receive it, that's not your job. So a lot of us get caught up in trying to figure out how I'm going to make this thing come to me. Like, how am I going to receive it? That's not your job. That's the universe's job. So when you ever notice, like, when you go to work and somebody else tell you to do something that's not particularly in your job description, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? And I'm going to allow somebody to type it up. If you're at work and somebody, I want you guys to type it up. If you are at work and someone asks you to do something that you know is not in your job description, that you should not be doing, what's the first thing you say? Nobody is going to say it. I will. The first thing I would say is, that's not my job. Plain and simple, that's not my job. So in this instance, you need to realize what your job is and do only your job. Figuring out how it's going to come to you, that's the job of the universe. So do not try to figure that out, because when you try to figure that out, that takes you off your course. You go off of what you're supposed to be doing. You try to figure out how, you try to do things that you might think will bring it closer to you, when all of a sudden it's probably right there. So in this instance, I knew that I wanted, a desk of a certain caliber. I knew what I wanted. But I did it. Yeah, pero. Keep walking. I knew what I wanted. I knew what I wanted it to look like, and within all that, it was actually so close to me, but I did not know. And that's another point that I want to bring up. A lot of the times when you want something, it is so close to you, but we give up. You know, we don't see it happening, and we tend to give up. I'm going to answer that question in a second. We tend to give up because we don't see it happening. Now, in my exact circle right here where I am, what I wanted was feet away from me. I didn't know that someone was going to be cleaning their house and getting rid of things and throwing that table out. I didn't know that. I didn't know how I was going to attract it. I looked into a couple of things as to where I can look, but I didn't force. Trying to get this table. And it just so happened that day that I was off, someone was throwing the table away. And then also, another thing is you have to move when the spirit moved you, because if I didn't walk my dog at the time that I did, I probably wouldn't have seen the table outside. I probably wouldn't have known that someone just threw that table away, and I would have totally missed it. I would have totally missed it. I always used to make a joke of people saying that back in Philly, I missed it. Ratchet girl moment. I'm going to answer somebody's questions. It looks like Taj is how you say, are you a Christian? Do you educate the law of attraction with faith and the universe with God? I am a Christian. Yes, I was raised in the church. It all comes down to the same thing: the law of attraction, faith, and God. It's all within the same realm. I personally choose not to. Sometimes I choose not to speak about it with Christianity when I first start, because I want people to kind of tune into what I'm saying and make that connection for themselves. I don't like to preach to people. I don't like to force spirituality. I don't like to force God or any type of religion on people. I like for people to make that own connection. So no matter what or who you believe in, when it comes down to what it comes down to in the end, it's just a higher being, you know? So it all comes down, no matter if your religion is like Hinduism, being a Muslim, all that stuff, it's all in the law of attraction. It's all a higher being. It's up to you who you want to believe in, but it's not without religion. You get what I'm saying? So that's why I choose sometimes when I make these videos and I start out very basic, because I want people to go in and kind of figure this out. So the way that you figured out, like this is somehow tied to religion, Christianity, or whatever, that's what I want other people to do as well. Tina Monique say, hi, I'm truly enjoying your law of attraction streams and videos. You're helping me out so much. Thank you. I appreciate that so much. Let me know what the quality is like right now, because remember I told y'all what I was working on? Yeah, let me know. Let me know what it's looking like. I'm getting close. I just have to shift my setup a little bit so I'm not looking away from the camera to answer your questions. But we getting there, you know? I'm very glad that these streams are helping people. So I'm extremely glad, because this is stuff that I want to talk to you guys about, because I learned from it myself. Totally veered off of what I was saying. Totally veered off. Anyway, I just wanted to come on and talk to you guys about that, because I'm so happy with the end product, and I'm going to disconnect really quick so I can show you guys what it looks like before I go. Come over there. All right, so let me just show you guys what the table looks like. Tyler, watch out, baby. All right, so this, and I tied up my connection so I can't step away too far. This right here is basically the table in its entirety. It's not extended to its full extreme that it could be. Like I mentioned, these parts right in here, they come out. And these are parts that we made. Like, we added this to the whole, you see? We added all this. I'm just like so thrilled about it. Look at my little planty plant. All my little cactus that I've been growing. That's the only thing that I can grow. And it does not die on me. Everything else freaking dies. Okay? Oh, Lord. All right, guys. I know this video was a little bit all over the place, but I felt like in that moment, I just needed to come on and share with you guys. So I'm going to start. Bumbalardi, hi, Mom. Hi. Mom, I got a new number. That's my mom. Once she said I named Bumbalardi, I know exactly that had to be a family member. Oh, that's good. I said your name correct. Perfect. Mom, I'm about to I texted you my new number. Damn, I wasn't supposed to. Wow. That's the only thing about live. Can't do certain things. I gotta go get ready for work. I have about 13 minutes to get up out of here and dress for work. So maybe a little bit later I'll come back on and I'll talk to you guys. Mom, why are you watching me right now? Why? You need to send us a picture of your hair because everybody's been asking about your hair, what it looks like, and also how it's coming along. Tina said, I have a question. So when you write it down, do you put a date on it? Now, I'll tell you this. Everything doesn't happen when you want it to happen. So putting a date on it can work for you, and then at the same time, it can work against you. So you do have to be patient. The law of attraction, when you study it and you start to practice it, it teaches you multiple things, and one of the things is patience, and it also teaches you to be very clear about what you want. Now, you can ask for something and you want to demand it by a certain day, a certain time, or you can just say, this is what I want. It wouldn't hurt to put a time frame on it, but I would try not to be, it's really tricky. So I don't want to say, yes, put a date on it. Don't put a date on it. I would put a date on it, but at the same time, you have to be understanding. You have to be patient, because if something doesn't happen for you in the exact time that you want it to, it doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. It probably means that, everything is getting put into place for you to receive what you want. And what you're going to receive is probably even better than what you wanted to begin with. A lot of the times, like, I remember when I wanted to start working at Apple because, they were paying for it. They had like jobs as far as scholarships. Like, I'm an Apple freak. I'm just electronic fool, but that wasn't the path that I needed to go down. And I wrote everything up because I spoke to I forgot who I spoke to at that time, and they told me about what Apple does for its employees. And I thought that would have been a good job for me to have. And that's before I started all this. This is when I had just got finished getting started to a place where I could leave him alone, and felt like I needed to get back into the workforce. And I knew what I wanted. I knew where I wanted to go, but how to get there, I didn't know. And I started doing all this crazy stuff and looking up different jobs and things that I thought I needed to do to get me to where I needed to be, but I never achieved them. That job at Apple, like, I had everything mapped out. I mean, from beginning to end, what I wanted, how much I wanted to make, when I needed to get hired, all this stuff, and it never happened. And I never understood why until as of recent, when I started looking back, and I'm like, wow, everything that I asked for, I got, and I got even more than I asked for, because it's all panning out. So yes, you can put a date on it, but you also have to be patient. You also have to be patient because, like I said, you might not get exactly what you're asking for, but you might get something a little bit better. In one instance, when I said that I wanted something and I got just what I asked for, but in the end, it turned out to be a freaking nightmare. That was my first department when I moved out of my mom's house. I got almost, I want to say about 95% of what I asked for, but in the end, it was a freaking nightmare. It was just horrible. Worst experience ever. So I'll tell you guys what, I'll make a commitment with you guys now, because I know I'm not really that great at putting times on things. So tonight, I get off at 5. Let's say tonight at 7, I'll come back on live and we'll do another video. We'll continue talking about The Secret a little bit more. And what I want to talk about is being impeccable with your word. That comes from the book, what is it called? The 4 Agreements. Now, I promise you, I am going to put a link in the bottom so you guys can listen to this book. I found in little videos that really goes through, and I looked at them. I looked over them because I wanted to make sure before I shared links with you guys, it was some substance. So the clips that I found here on YouTube, they actually is an audio of the book, and it's word for word because I was listening to it as I was reading along, and it's word for word. So at some point today, maybe when I'm at work, I'm going to sneak in and put the little link in there for you guys so you can go and watch that video. And then later today, we can kind of talk about it. I got to do something about all this clickety clackety in the background. So 7 o'clock tonight, I'm going to come back on. We're going to be live, and we're going to talk about being impeccable with your word. So I want you guys, if you have the book, to read that chapter. I think it's the first of the 4 agreements, being impeccable with your words, and it all ties in. The law of attraction, the secret, write it down, make it happen, the Aladdin factor, the 4 agreements, like all those books, they have similar teachings, and it all ties in. Let me see. Yeah, I'm just going to do it that way. All right, so I will see you guys later tonight around 7 o'clock. We'll come back on. We'll be live. Until next time, I will talk to you guys a little bit later, okay? So remember, if the message matters, share it with other people. You cannot be great all by yourself. Until later, bye. Let's see if I can remember how to end the situation. Oh, you want to say hi, Siler? Okay, come say hi. Up, up. Okay. Look, camera is that way. You see your goat? Look at that goatee. Look at it. Oh, look at that goatee. Look at the goatee. It's such a sweet baby. Yes. Isn't he a sweet baby? Isn't he a sweet baby? You want to come to work with me today? We'll have the phone room to ourselves. I think I'll take you to work with me. All right, guys. We are off to work. Your grandmom is watching. Grandma. Bye, guys.